I'm going to get right into it. So, one of the things that people have been talking about in Dead by Daylight recently, I was about to explain what Dead by Daylight is. I'm not going to do that because every time I would do content for that, I'm not going to spend 3 minutes. If you're in this video, chances are you know what it is. Okay, so the thing that people are talking about right now is the potentiality that the 3 gen is back, and I can't even, people are using the wording holding hostage. Okay. Um, but if it's 10 minutes, I can't rightfully call that holding hostage. And I might, is it a possibility that if there is a ability to, oh, it's maybe, uh, like I know Hens. Hens has a video. Didn't he just come out with one recently? Anyway, Hens was talking about how you can, if a gen isn't done in 10 minutes, then as the killer, you can have it where the match is over. And in theory, it's a win. Though I've heard that concept contested by somebody on Twitter, said it most certainly counts as a loss. But then someone else said this person has been known to be wrong before. Um, so you're, as killer, you keep a survivor from doing the gen for 10 minutes, and then you can have it where they are. You can make it where you automatically end the match. Whether or not that counts as a win for you, it definitely shows the skulls next to the survivor. So I thought this was kind of interesting. It's been a really long time since they destroyed the gen kick meta. So it's back in some kind of form. It's almost like the Hydra head, you know. Has it come back as strong though? It doesn't seem like it. But I tried it for myself. I tried Sadako doing it, and I tried Trapper. The thing was, I never got it to the 10 minutes because I'll be honest, and maybe I actually kind of show an opinion here about, you know, whether you should do it or not, because I found out I didn't need to do it, so I went ahead and killed the people, and I didn't just prolong the match just for the sake of the experiment of doing it. I had I had opportunities like with Sadako. Somebody, the Toledo in the match, got condemned, even though I was using Eerie videotape. I was using Eerie videotape so I could easily bounce to my 4 gen back and forth. I didn't know you could actually get condemned with Eerie tape. There you go. There's trivia for you. Like, I don't know. That's the only time I've ever used Eerie tape and I got condemned. I don't know if that's normal. The Toledo was like playing differently or what. And then the other time was Trapper. And then I realized I was at RPD. I could have kept this survivor out on the loop outside, you know, where that pretty bad loop is with the pallet on that like alleyway. But then I was like, nah, dude, I'm just gonna end this. I actually ended up giving him Hatch. But I mean, maybe I'm revealing my honest behavior is I don't want to make it troll for the survivor necessarily. Though I do find different forms of different forms of strategy to be fun in DVD. Let's see. Um, I'm actually wondering because now I want to see if there's actual like undeniable undisputed fact about whether it counts as a win or a loss for the killer. I would assume it would count as a win if they haven't done a gen in 10 minutes and then you opt out. Why would you be given an option to opt out and then be given a loss? Seems very strange. Although it's behavior. So I don't actually know if that means that it's not true or false just because it's a weird decision. Um, let's see. I want an actual because I was watching Scott Jund, and Scott Jund was told that as a killer, if you opt out, you are given a loss. But then he was questioning the source. Okay, that's the normal game. Oh, here we go. Does the new abandon option affect MMR? An example: as the killer, after sacrificing two parent for 10 minutes, the abandon option will trigger. If I use that option, I still gain MMR points for the two I sacrificed. Well, you would for the two that you sacrificed. Would you for the other ones? I don't like the way this guy worded it. He's not getting to the meat of the issue here. Yes, you will gain MMR. Killing, sacrificing a bot, an action player. Killing and sacrificing a bot. That's not what he's saying. I don't know, couldn't tell you, but I smell fear on you. Well, I appreciate this person's meme attitude here. Uh, that's what I almost feel like that is like becoming its own meme on the internet. It's oh yeah, sure, and then something completely unrelated. Yes, you will gain. Oh, God, I hate the way he worded the question. Dude, I don't. No, 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 no. This isn't getting to the what counts as a win for the killer. Okay. What counts as a win? How many kills is a win? So there seems to be some gray area. I don't know if someone just like threw out some misinformation and now it's hard to get a denoted response. I wonder if we could get it. Hmm. Yeah. That guy got close, but his wording was not very good for getting at the heart of the issue here. Let's try Dead by Daylight official website. I want to see because apparently there's a question here by people. Does the abandon feature make you lose as a killer? It doesn't sound right, but now there's a question. So now I really want it like resolved at this point. Or should I just naturally uncredit it because it doesn't make intuitive sense? But not everything makes intuitive sense that's real. So I'm gonna see if I can definitively show where it's said. Um oh, this is speaking of Ghostface, an idea I've had. An idea I've had for a video is Trapper is better than Ghostface. I find I really want to do content on that because I really feel like uh, Trapper is really underrated by the community. Do I think he's blight? Oh hell no! I'm not deluded. But man, the way that it almost feels like it's it's like this thing that people doesn't question about him being low. Even as the game, look at it this way: how much has the game changed? How the perks have changed? How many reworks of perks? How many reworks buffs of killers? Yet he remains lowest all the time, no matter how the game changes. Right there, that's questionable to me. Let's see. Maybe we'll get it in latest news. Maybe we could try latest news. That's pretty cool that Five Nights at Freddy's is coming. Latest news. Let's try this again. If it's not included as if it is included as kills for the killer, it's a very frustrating when people online ignorantly put false information. It's like takes up everybody's time. Let's see. Abandoned feature. Uh, okay. No wonder there could be so much misinformation. I mean, how long is this going to take for me to find? General discussions. I almost want to ask behavior themselves. I wonder if they would answer. Uh, yeah, is this what I saw? After seeing some posts about the terms we commonly use in game. I remember seeing that picture. Okay, is this it? Just wanting to make sure I'm not misinterpreting this. So if every match the survivor surrender window opens and they all surrender to DC, so then IDC the kills for the purpose will be hmm. If I four-man slug them down, they all instantly surrender DC. So I do as well. Even though I had one, that would be technically not raising my MMR since they weren't dead yet when I left. Blah. So this would allow for people. Okay. Once all four survivors DC, even if they aren't dead yet. We're getting close. Getting close. Welcome to the party, pal. I've got below 30 hours of DVD. Wow. That's called a palette. This is a window. Avoid vaulting windows at all costs when you see the killer. No, totally troll. God, I feel like if they don't say there's 4 survivors and they don't do a gen and then you abandon the match, it can't be a loss. How would it be a loss and show that the four survivors are dead? So somehow the mechanic has it where you lose and the 4 are dead? Like it almost feels like natural pointing system. If 4 are dead, you wouldn't get a loss, but I guess they could technically put that in. Let's see. Hmm. I don't want to do the whole stream on whether that does that. Let's maybe try one more. I do kind of find it interesting that Gen Kick meta could be back in some form. If you have 3 survivors with 3 gens remaining, 1 gen completed will count as 2. Then you will have 4 incompleted gens. Okay. Gen repair needs to get longer for gen speeds are crazy. That's why some killers now are it's like ice skating uphill. Within 10 seconds, 1 gen is done. Yeah, that's definitely cheating, dude. I don't think it's possible. Well, is it? Is it possible? If you had 4 people with a purple toolbox. Okay, let me start this over. What? Okay. Dead by daylight. 10 minutes. Oh, I heard somebody say that Ots and Hens should not have made the video about showcasing how you could get the abandoned feature. Oh, I almost want to watch this to observe it, but I don't want to rip off this dude's content. This guy's pretty good, by the way. If you like Legion, you know how there's like every killer, there's this is the streamer for it. This is the Legion guy, and then the Chocolat, that is the uh Singularity guy, and then Linksy, that is the Twins girl, and then like that really hilariously loud foul mouthed dude is the Trapper guy. That is a good description. Accurate is accurate. Oh, toxic grasshopper, sweet. Yeah. Oh my god, I wonder is Pinhead really good for that? What would be the best killers? You know what? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to tier list maker. I like this website. I better be careful. It's gonna become a massive, massive staple for the stream for sure. Let's see. DBD killer. The level of terrifying DVD. Okay. This tier list is killers for holding the game hostage. I know I said that wasn't my favorite wording because holding hostage for 10 minutes, that's like almost oxymoronical. Like hold hostage for 10 minutes. Think about that for a minute. It's not hold hostage. One does not simply hold someone hostage for 10 minutes. These are going to be, I mean, dude, try it. You know what I mean? Even though, like I said, I gave mercy and I didn't push for the abandon thing, these were good. I'm not saying this is going to be us, but I'm just throwing these out here. Is okay. This might just be bias, but the longest time I've ever gotten 3 gen was a plague. She'd be better at it too. Um. Dude, it really depends. It really depends with him. If you are protecting gens and you get really good RNG, those zombies. I've had it before where I had a good 3 gen at Pied Piper, and the zombies were just loitering around the 3 gen the entire match. I feel like this guy really struggles with 3 gen kick meta. His speed is pretty good for that. I don't know. Well, I'm not going to do this whole tier list. Let's see, it would take quite a bit of time. I don't think I'm committed to that. I would actually rather do a Chris Nolan tier list at some point than do who's the best at 3 gen, this new 10-minute 3 gen. Let's see. Maybe I'm going to pivot a little bit here. Oop. Entertainment news. Let's see. No, 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 no. No, 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 not celebrity gossip crap. Oh, it's gonna be all. It's mostly synonymous with a bunch of the Hollywood drama crap. Let me see. Well, you know what I'm interested in? Last of Us season 2, which I have not seen. but I've heard like mixed. I don't think it's like as negative as like the Resident Evil Netflix adaptation, but people seem to be soured on it a little bit. Video game adaptation that it expands apocalyptic morality on the dark passage between justice and retribution. Critics say it's the best on TV, although not as satisfying as the first season. The show is gory, gorgeous, violently violent. You know what? At first, when I saw someone's knee jerk reaction that something was written by I questioned that. But the show is gory, gorgeous, violently violent. Who does this? But I guess I can't underestimate people, right? Violently violent, like someone non-ironically put violently violent. Is that AI? Vividly brought to life. Huh? I don't know. Uh, let's see. Oh yeah. Critics. What's the overall on the critics? Let me guess. Audiences. Yeah. Well, what's there are ample sources of drama if one knows the games. Yeah. They did turn this more into like a drama show, right? Where this is actually kind of validates something that Quentin Tarantino said. He said shows will never reach the heights of movies, even though the filmmaking quality and the visuals can be as high as film. He said so much of that TV drama that's forgettable in a few weeks is still saturates TV. Now I disagree with him where he says it can never get over that. I think it can get over that. But I think the TV does have a hang up with making everything drama. Like if you look at the Walking Dead TV show versus the Walking Dead comic, you really feel that TV drama stuff encroaches in a lot of the airtime. But like I said, I don't necessarily think that TV is doomed to be that way. So even though there is definitely examples of that in Breaking Bad, like veggie bacon, for instance, uh, or talking to Hank's wife about her stealing addiction, felt very TV. The more Breaking Bad went on, the less it seemed to have hangups over being TV, and it seemed to truly be like cinematic to me. Okay, okay. The Last of Us ends season one in a tense place. The long journey of Joel and Ellie hit a major snag when Joel realizes the Fireflies. So begins with the introduction of the Firefly, who wants only one thing: Joel's death, and retribution for that season one act. Cut to see. I don't want to be a rude jerk because I know like that guy's Jeff Ewing. We saw this guy. We saw his face. I don't mean to be a big jerk, dude, but I don't. I don't know. I don't know about the writing, man. Retribution for that season one act. Cut to an angry Ellie who lives in the community run by Joel's brother Tommy. While on patrol. Okay. Are you doing like the back of the book summary or are you gonna maybe that's he should be doing that, but I don't need to read a synopsis. Setting up for some excellent action sequences and effects. The new kind of infected portends a deadly kind of challenger that the community isn't ready for. They barely believe Ellie when she tells him Joel is desperate. Okay. What? It's like a plot synopsis. His review is a plot synopsis. Okay. Cool. Uh let's see. The Last of Us Season 2 Sublime Moments make way station chapter worthwhile. Not long ago, the prevailing wisdom was every screen adaptation, especially a live action one of a video game, was done. True. For some reason, I'm already liking this review better because that is a good way to start an Last of Us adaptation thing. Because let's admit, no matter what, you could pick on this, you could praise this, you could not praise this. Like, big picture, this is actually well made and takes the source material seriously as a video game adaptation. That right there, that they're even taking it seriously and it looks like an actual fucking TV show and not a big ass joke. So it should be taken into consideration. It wasn't until the 2000 movie Pokemon Detective Pikachu did the genre register its first positive Rotten Tomatoes score. The first victor atop steaming pile of critical misfires, including Super Mario, bro. No, 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 no. Critics dumped on Super Mario Bros. Super Mario Bros. I'm not even the hugest fan of it because to me it was a what do they call it? The Minions guys, Illumination. It was a oh I'm reading reviews for The Last of Us 2. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm checking out the reviews. I may watch it at some point. I'm really interested in why it got criticism. I got kind of a feeling that there was some anti-woke people were kind of attacking it. Though I don't know how woke the show was. I mean, at some point you put a black character in a show, the anti-woke people are screaming. But then at the other end of it, there is some like undeniable woke stuff that is like the wokeness takes precedent over the entertainment. So I'm just trying to see where the show's at. I'm reading reviews. This person, oh, hey, Wesker, here's where I'm at. This person says, steaming pile of critical misfires, including Super Mario Brothers. They're talking about video game adaptations. Excuse me. That where I am not agreeing with that like at all. That was a triumph. Super Mario Brothers, they mentioned the Pokemon thing. Okay, I'm not going to say that it is or didn't register as a hit for a video game adaptation. Although I got to tell you guys, is that they've been doing these animes off of Pokemon forever and a day. Is it? I almost feel like you can't give it to the 2019 one. The Pokemon adaptations have been going on forever. Uh, Tomb Raider, yeah, Tomb Raider steaming pile. Street Fighter, oh dude, Street Fighter's beyond bad. So their original assertion here about not long ago, the prevailing wisdom was every screen adaptation, especially a live action one of a video game, was done. Street Fighter, good. Tomb Raider, good. Although the first, you want to know the truth, the first Tomb Raider movie had higher sentiment after its initial release than you think it did. I remember magazine articles talking about how it was the next James Bond franchise and how Angelina Jolie was proxy Sean Connery. So at that when this game was released, that wasn't the first initial thought. But the sequels were even had diminishing returns, and the Tomb Raider hasn't really aged well. But the Super Mario Brothers, Steaming Pile of Critical Misfires, the critics were soured on this. People love this movie. This was an achievement. Even like I said, to me personally, my subjective viewing was, oh, it's Illumination with Super Mario skins. But that wasn't people cried. People cried during this movie. Do not add this in a list of bad video game adaptations. When The Last of Us premiered its first season in 2023, I started watching it. I didn't get all the way through. It wasn't his pretty good for a TV series. It was holy crap. This is superb television created by Chernobyl. Right. Well, there you go. That is like S tier. One of the game's masterminds, Neil Druckmann. The Last of Us drew on its rich source material, a game that had a wealth of cinematic detail with a focus on character-driven story. Yeah. Okay, I like this review a lot better than the guy that basically just did the plot synopsis with maybe a couple half cared for opinions laced in. Yes, the series had an advantaged starting point. It was able to transition. Now, where is the controversy? I know there's controversy. In the 2 years since the first season wrapped up to universal acclaim, fans have been patiently waiting for its return. I remember thinking that too. I didn't finish the show, but I thought, wow, a video game adaptation with Pascal, the Viper, right? The guy in the Nicolas Cage movie. And it's like an actual show. There are questions abound, including how the show will treat significant plot points gamers are already familiar with. I would be wondering where they go. So if it's a hit show and you do 6 seasons, what are you going to do? There's only 2 games. Let's just say that it is done with great respect to the original game's rendering and knockout moment that will floor the unsuspecting and satisfying those in the know. They must be talking about Joel's death. This channel, I'm not worried about spoilers, dude. What I'm not going to talk. So, like, my whole channel is a spoiler warning. I'm not going to not say what was going on in the show. Set 2 decades after a fungal virus spread across the world, I just realized, is Resident Evil 7, is that post Last of Us 1? Did they kind of borrow the fungus thing, kind of like how the James Bond franchise borrows the action tropes that are going on in its current when it, in its current iterations? Okay, I'm not doing DBD anymore. Last of Us Season 2. Is it good or is it whack? Okay, I gotta quote my man Ali G and his friend Rainbow Jeremy for that reference. Last of Us. I don't. If I put this on, is it? Do they have the show, dude? Do they have the show? I would like to know. Do they have the show? I don't know if that's right there. Oh, did I put TV show? Oh, what the? Let's see. I don't know why it does that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I did. Okay. Last of Us original game. I really like this game, by the way. When Joel goes on a furious rampage of bloodthirsty revenge, I love that ending. It was so good to me. I didn't play 2. I watched Bach Soup play basically the whole thing though. 2013. Resident Evil 7. Did Resident Evil 7 borrow the fungal thing from Last of Us? Did Resident Evil 7 go fungus? Not a bad idea. Don't mind if I do myself, Jordan. Set 2 decades after a fungal virus. I want to explore that. Did Resident Evil 7 rip off fungus idea from Last of Us? Resident Evil 7 did not directly, well, we're not saying directly. It's not like they named, like, if the fungus was called Jaja in uh, Last of Us, we're not saying they called it Jaja. Not directly, but both games share a common theme of infection and zombie-like creatures. Zombie-like creatures ain't the ripoff. It's the fungal part. While The Last of Us portrays a world where the mutated cordyceps fungus takes over human minds, Resident Evil has its own viral outbreak and zombie hordes. Well, no, it's not zombie hordes and viral outbreak. Dude, you're mixing it up. It's 7 with the fungus. Oh, okay. Oh, this might be good. This might be good. This might be what I'm looking. I want to see if there's more information about this. Comparing the infections found in Resident Evil and Last of Us. Well, the Resident Evil 7, right, and 8. Oh no. Are they going to talk about pre-7 Resident Evil? It doesn't. No. That's not what we're talking about. No, the singularity is the fungus one. Let's see if they talk about the fungus. What? They talked about 5, 4. Because isn't 5? That one is like the plant. Okay, let's see. Uh, anyway, interesting thought. It is interesting that Last of Us has a fungus, and then a few years later, that Resident Evil has the Baker house with the fungus. Okay, though that could, is that the first fungus making zombies? Is because now there's more than one for sure. Zombies, fungus. Oh, did they get it from the nonfiction with the ant? Because everyone talks about that. Oh, that's kind of interesting. Were they inspired? Was The Last of Us people inspired by that? I wonder if zombies with the fungus predated. Yeah, we're gonna get that. Okay, back to this. Okay, back to the quality of this show. At the end of the first season, Joel discovers the procedure would mean Ellie's immediate death, and he killed everyone in the hospital, including the doctor. Crucially, as they left, Joel lied to Ellie, shielding her from the truth. See, I like that there's a lot of faithfulness from the show, from the game. But Joel and Ellie are on the outs and the strain of their fracturing weighs on them, the people around them. I just realized something. A lot of the criticisms that people have of season 2, I wonder if it's based off of the decision making they had in the show, or if it's they were faithfully adapting stuff from the game that was controversial. And that way, you got to let the show go. The show's just being faithful. In fact, even if they went the opposite way of the original game, and it was more people audience pleasing, then the game isn't really that good because they're being unfaithful to the source material. In Ellie's life, there is Dina, Isabella, recruited a resourceful young woman, and Ellie's love interest among the newbies. Because wasn't that in the game? Wasn't she lesbian in the game? The thing about The Last of Us is that while there's a lot of happening, including elaborate action sequences such as zombie attacks or propulsive chases through the ruins of the metropolis, it's always focused on character. I believe the game was as well. At every point, the series gives you a clear idea of how everyone is feeling, not just what they're doing. That's down to the writing and the performances. A synchronous marriage that elevates the. Yeah, that's good TV right there, right? So the question is whether the season was. It doesn't, but it's still better than 97%. Well, yeah, that's a good case too, relative to other TV, right? Anytime you're evaluating something, you really should keep in mind what it is compared to other stuff. Most TV is actually unwatchable. Like after the first 5 minutes, my brain tunes out. The second game on which this season is based is much longer. So this batch is 7 episode climax to a point that is less of a bookend than the first installment. See, I'm wondering because the plot ends. Let me see something. Last of Us season 2 finale explained. Is Pedro Pascal's Joel really dead? Oh my god, don't tell me they're gonna fake you out. Remember, what was that dude's name? Where they actually had candlelight vigils for his death when he was getting baseball batted in the head? Remember when they fake killed him first? They're not gonna do that, are they? Last of Us creators explain shocking season 2 death. Well, he had to die because, like, just look at it like a show. He had to die because he died in the game, dude. You're making an adaptation. There's nothing worse than having wild, crazy, um, left turns when you're doing a adaptation. After managing to protect Ellie from the infected for a whole season, fans witnessed Joel's tragic demise. During the episode, Abby got revenge on her hero by killing her father, a doctor at the Salt Lake City hospital. What? Yeah. Saved Ellie from season 1 finale. I'm good. Okay. Well, if you can't hear my voice, then what am I gonna? I can't just like chat. And if you can't hear me, I'm really sorry about your headphones. I'm really sorry, man. You know. So I'm talking about. Well, I'm not talking about Dead by Daylight. Talking about Last of Us. Was it good? Was it bad? Okay. All right. I experienced the worst of the negative reaction to it already 5 years ago. So, in that respect, I haven't been nervous. Okay, it does hurt tremendously when it happens. It hurts, of course. Well, dude, I remember people were triggered when it happened. So basically, they're just reliving the anger from 5 years ago when people played the game. It doesn't hurt tremendously when it happens. It hurts, of course. I think I know what I want to talk about here. I think, you know what? I'm going to pivot this into a conversation about these people aren't real. Yeah, I want to do that. I'm going to do it after this. I think I'm going to actually wrap this up pretty quick. It's sticking around. Okay, whatever. People, here's my next one. People get a real energetic and angry and upset when a character dies. Okay? Let's look at storytelling. So, fiction character dies vicariously sad. Does anything come up when I put this? When a beloved fictional character dies, it can be devastating and leave a lasting impact. Here are some heartbreaking deaths in literature. Oh, interesting. I kind of like that. Oh, dude. I like I kind of like where this is going. I like how most of this is they're talking about literature. Does that hit harder for people for some reason? Okay, this is where I'm coming from. Uh this guys, this is almost like okay, I care about I go, oh man, it feels bad, man. Okay, I'm gonna give you a weird example. I don't know if it was the horror of it. I don't think it was actually like I really care for this character and I care that he died. But there's a obscure movie written by Cormac McCarthy, starring Michael Fassbender, Javier Bardem, and what's her name? I think it's something about Mary Girl. And Brad Pitt's in it, and when he gets killed by this weird like gadget that almost belongs in a James Bond movie. God, it felt ugh. But I don't know if that was like caring about the character. It was just like horrifying. Uh, there's a it, there reaches a point when people are really caring about a character dying that it's like here's a story. You got character A and character B. Character A really is into religion and faith. Character B is really into empiricism and logic and is an atheist. Okay, they get into and the characterizations revolve around those traits. Okay, they get into a gunfight and maybe they kill each other. And maybe the people that are more religiously inclined and find character A more relatable feel a certain way. Maybe character B, uh, makes rational people that are into science feel a certain way, so they care or don't care. Uh, Here's the thing, though. I can write 5 pages about character A and how his walk with his faith helps him be altruistic. And even though he doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow, he has faith that something's in control of his life and he's going to end up well. And what a tragedy is when he gets shot. But guys, this guy is real. It's interesting to think about. But guys, he's not real. Joel isn't real. I want to show you something. It's interesting. It's entertaining. You can maybe wax something off of it. You could take something from the message. Maybe it can edify you in certain themes that are universal. But to care, feel empathy or sympathy or sadness to a great extent, Vigil. I want to show you something, and when after I show you this, I really don't want to. What was the guy's name that got his head bashed in? The Asian American guy. I'm not getting. I had Chris Hardwick in it. It was during the Talking Dead, and there was like a candlelight vigil. What's this dude's name? Hey, Wesker. I'm okay. What was the dude's name? Uh, Glenn. Glenn. Right? It was Glenn. Yeah. So where's the candlelight vigil? I watched it. Is this it? So like when he died, there was literally people lighting candles, dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of them, and they were crying and weeping the passing of someone that does not exist. I mean, uh so in the real life realm that we all live in, whether we like it or not, in memoriam, right? Is this it? In the real world, like someone just got in real life, someone just got head trauma from a car accident. Okay, maybe the car will get recalled in the future, but unfortunately for whoever this hypothetical person is, it didn't get recalled in time for them. You gotta maybe they are a little vain about their face. Their face got smashed in, permanent scarring, and they got head trauma. This person's real. They're gonna have to deal with this every single, not day, not hour, every minute. They're gonna have to deal with this. That's tough because this is a real person. Now, somehow, in fan groups, it's somehow there's this. You know, people talk about parasocial with streamers and stuff. With the real parasocial stuff that is strange to me is when someone would care that this guy gets his head bashed in. He's not a real guy. There's a real guy though that got his head bashed in during that theoretical, well, I know, real theoretical oxymoron. Got his head bashed in through that car accident. He got a trauma. Look at this. Every day, uh, yearly car accident deaths. Okay. 42,000 people. 42,000 real people. Take one, take yourself, take your whole morning. You could probably talk a half hour about talking to people in your interpersonal circles, what you had for breakfast. You know, I had a little too much spam this morning. It's so salty, it makes me kind of feel sick. I went for a run despite my foot kind of aching. I had fun conversations with my significant other about our favorite video game. You could go on just for this morning. You know, individual lives matter. 42,000 people 3 years ago in a 1 year window. Kaput. No more thinking of spam. No more thinking of their favorite game. No more talking to their significant other. I mean, real life trauma is for real scary. Now, Glenn getting his head bashed in by a fictional character, getting their head bashed in by a fictional character, and you're lighting candles. You know what's funny? They're lighting candles, candlelight vigil. They're lighting candles and all this will be, oh my god, this person that's not real suffered and died. I bet you 5 miles away from this site, someone got in a car accident and is now a spinal dude. And they're not faking that. And we're really gonna sit here and worry about Glenn when there's real life suffering. So I'm gonna relate this to Joel. Joel dying. Let's see. Joel's death, Last of Us 2, which I think this game and TV, I'm getting the impression did a lot of salt farming. Joel dies in Abby's hands in The Last of Us 2, and then it made people hate that character. Because it's just a simple meditation on the karma of vengeance. It's like the original Kill Bill concept. So people wronged her, so then she comes after him, but then she killed someone who was a mom, and then the daughter witnessed her dead mother. She doesn't have a right to vengeance. It's just it's just this universal theme of if you have eye for an eye, the whole world goes blind. Now, to people to experience actual visceral levels of upsetness with the story direction on a universal theme like that, are they actually combating the idea? Oh, are they coming from a place where they think, if I do it, it's okay, and there shouldn't be justice in my direction because I am the protag? Is that what it is? Joel dies in Abby's hands in The Last of Us 2 after being beaten to death with a golf club. Abby, a former Firefly, was angry that Joel killed her father, the lead surgeon experimenting on Ellie. The encounter resulted in Joel being shot, restrained, and beaten to death in front of Ellie with a golf club. It was slow, painful, and excruciating. And not real. Not real. The death sets off the entire motif of revenge, plays out throughout the game. Exactly. If anything, it's almost like a responsible, realistic approach to revenge. A shocking death and loss of us happened so early in the show because it happened that way in the game. Okay, they keep. I've noticed this a lot of narratives around the Last of Us 2 adaptation seem to forget it's an adaptation. Like they seem to make it like the showrunners decided on a plot line. They decided to make a faithful adaptation. Okay, you got to go back to the original. Okay, let's see what this says. You knew it was going to happen because of spoiler, but you didn't know it was going to happen so soon because you didn't get a specific spoiler. Okay. Uh, you have to actually hand it to the game to be unique that way. We're so used to things being overly formulaic and cookie cutter that it's actually really refreshing that they did something like the protag is gone early. It throws a curveball. It's very similar. I don't know if they're inspired by Game of Thrones, but if you look at the release of the Last of Us games, it wasn't that long ago Game of Thrones was meant something before they like turned into complete dog water overnight with the last seasons. Um, I wonder if they were kind of inspired. Oh, and even dude, it's funny. Speaking of that, Pascal was Viper in Game of Thrones, and he had a death that threw off one of my friends. He was exactly what I'm talking about. As part of this group of people that gets genuinely upset when a fictional character gets killed. Yeah, dude. Oh my god. So one of my favorite things was the people Abraham fans being like, where's the support for Abraham, man? Dude, I cared more about it. Abraham was way cooler, dude. But I mean that's coming from me. I like stuff like 90s action movies. So if you take this oh like overly done dramatic thing between him and his wife and she's pregnant and stuff, or Mr. Super Ginger Badass, I'm gonna take the latter. Yeah, yeah, isn't it weird? I feel like it's really weird. Now I'm not sensing the same amount of cray cray over like Glenn than with Joel's death. But I remember when the game came out, there were plenty of people that were giga triggered by Joel dying. I like how people say, we need something new, we need something unique. And then you make the pro tag of season one die early season two, and they go, why he die so early? You know what I mean? I wish copyright stuff wasn't so stringent. I would actually like to watch this. Let's see. He's just a pizza guy, dude. He's just a lowly pizza driver. Remember the 5 minutes where Steven Seagal was actually cool? And he was like, I'm just a lowly chef. And Under Siege, Glenn is just, I'm just a lowly pizza driver. Yeah, I find the relationship between people and fictional characters, the amount of emotions invested through almost a vicarious parasocial relationship with a fictional character to be a little alarming, considering I've noticed there could be a lot of stuff going on in real world news. I'm not going to get. So I don't want the channel to be going through the weeds on those subject matters necessarily. But we know there's a lot of human suffering going on. We just know that. I find it where people is the same people laughing at the human suffering IRL. Are they the same ones tearing up in their handkerchief over Pixel Man? I don't know. It's interesting to me when you have a character. Like it was interesting to me to have Joel have his surrogate daughter. And then, even though it could save humanity, the experimenting on her that could kill her puts him into a rage. It's almost like opening an old wound and he goes revenge mode and kills everybody. It's interesting. It's fun. It's fiction. He's not real. Okay. The Last of Us just killed off a major character today. Oh, God. You know you're going to get great reporting here. I see stuff like this and I'm almost going to fall asleep. Last of Us just killed off a major character. Why did Joel have to die? Why did he have to die? Like, why did he have to die? You know, Marvin? You know, when they shot Marvin in the face? Why did Vincent have to accidentally or purposefully, I've heard a theory, have to kill Marvin, dude? Marvin was just chilling in the back of the car. You know? Why did Marvin have to die? Stormtrooper number 67. I specifically remember him getting shot by Leia. I know it's Leia because she had the highest success rate of hits with the blaster. Uh, why did he have to die? Joel Miller from HBO's The Last of Us. We hardly knew ye. Season 2. You know that crazy 88 guy that gets slashed in the face and he turns around and your POV is him screaming? Why do you have to die? Season 2 of the zombie apocalypse series, set 5 years after the last season, has devastating surprises in store of that beloved main character. He died, and badly. Oh, yeah, right for the lowest common denominator. He died. end badly. They wrote end poorly. On Sunday night's episode, Joel, played by Pedro Pascal, died. Abby beat Joel to death, blaming him rightly. Yeah! For gunning down the rebel fireflies, including her father. For the cure, the plan was to use Ellie's brain, who remains immune to the fungus. But Joel had his reasons. Dude, I don't know what it is, guys. I feel like we're going into the cerebral toilet. I don't know what got us here. I don't know if the information age is like the fruit on the tree of good and evil. And it was like, hey, humanity, you'll have access to all information. Cool. Takes a bite of the apple. Is fixated with really crappy information and communication. Is that what's going on here? Okay. Uh, I mean, I don't want to like. Okay, let's see. Last of Us 2. Anger. Okay. Last of Us fans have a meltdown. Okay? Is that a twist? Is that a twist that he gets killed? Or is that unexpected surprise? A twist would be like Joel can never die because he has fungus strain 5. He's immortal. But no, he got killed anyway. What a twist. A character dying isn't a twist, right? Am I wrong? Pedro Pascal sure had bad luck. He sure had bad luck. Show his head looking like Glenn's. Doesn't he? First he had his head crushed into paste on Game of Thrones. Then it's caught way off guard. What is... I can't do the writing, dude. I can't. Let's get rid of some of this. So, here's what I find weird about people and their vicariousness about this. So, let's say you have concern or care or empathy. Let's say, I don't know if I don't want to mischaracterize how empathy, concern, and sympathy work. But I want to imagine it's like a pool. Imagine you're playing like an RPG and you have a mana pool. And you got limited amount, right? And you got limited like areas that you can focus. You're a human being and you got this empathy pool. And let's say the homeless guy is like, oh God, he limps at you and he's groaning in pain. He's like, $5, please. Yes, I will buy booze, but the suffering is so great. And I'm starting to get the shakes. Please, God, just a shot, man. Please, $5. And you're like, dude, you've done this to yourself, you sick a-hole. And you feel disgust and you feel good about yourself while you leave. Then you turn on the TV and this guy, this nice actor here whose career almost took off after the show, but not quite, but that's non sequitur to the point, gets his head bashed in and you're like, Glenn, oh man, what have you done, Negan? I can't forgive you. I'll never watch the show again. I have real tears in my eye. Dude, okay, so your mana pool, your empathy pool, okay? Health is red, magic is blue, empathy pool is green. You drained your mana pool on a man that doesn't exist, and you felt nothing with real human pain in your face. What's going on here? What is going on here? Guys, this is entertainment. This is fun. Uh oh shit, man. I'm not gonna actually I'm gonna show you something. Uh, Walking Dead car chase. I'm not gonna play the thing; it'll get copyright. What's the one? Is this it? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Dude, there is a car chase that is so good. This is entertainment. You know, this is the equivalent of going to. This is so good, dude. Oh my god! So watch this off stream. So, dude, Wesker, you remember this chase scene? The music, dude. The music is so good. It's like throwback to to when like older horror. This is entertainment, man. You got the adrenaline. Look at the shots. It feels I love that zoom in and then the door shut. Dude, for a TV show, this was so freaking good. What is it with that shot? I love the shots of this. Look at that. It looks so like 70s, dude. And the music had like throwback aspects to it. Okay, Walking Dead is entertainment, guys. When this dude in the back of the truck gets killed, do we need a candlelight vigil? I mean, do we need a real mechanic after the motorcycle crash? Is someone looking for his wrench because he saw a mechanical decline in the motorcycle when it crashed? It ain't real, guys. The integrity of the motorcycle for driving is not the concern. Is this entertaining? Like the show when it was good. Worked so well. Dude. I wish I could play this because the music really did it justice. But oh yeah, laughing during it. Uh oh, are you thinking of the one where Negan threw the axe? Dude, look at that zoom in right there, dude. This is so good, man. Like when you got like Cowboys versus Indians, robbers versus police, cops versus robbers. You got survivors going at each other in the zombie apocalypse. This is peak. This is peak. Now, I'm going back to that's what this is. Now, to use what I call the empathy pool, every individual has an empathy pool. To drain from that pool on this, guys, there's a real car that crashed somewhere out there, dude. Or to just shrug and say that's how the cookie crumbles. Meanwhile, we're shedding literal tears over characters like Joel. We care a lot about Joel dying because we care a lot about him. You mean the character. Meanwhile, I've noticed, I think it's even getting worse than it used to be. People are getting savage when it comes to their treatment and their appraisal of each other. I think it's getting more and more heartless. I think we're becoming less connected with ourselves, ironically, with the internet. And we're becoming more infatuated and with vicariously through fiction and parasocial. Guys, it's questionable. What's another version of that? When do people completely lose their bananas over people dying in fiction? Let me evaluate myself. I mean, is there any hypocrisy here? Do I really care about someone that died in a fiction? Sometimes I care that they killed them and they could have provided more material when they were like a high point in the show. I'll give you a good example. Wesker knows this one. Dokes. Dokes from Dexter. Now, I didn't feel like someone had died. I didn't have nightmares about my good friend dying. Like my brain was confused about whether he was real or not, which I'm getting the impression some people are. But I felt like he was so entertaining. He was so entertaining. Like like Proxy Samuel L. Jackson was in the show. And I love that he was always like haunting Dexter. And then when he died, it's like, oh, that's just the entertainment value went down for me. You know, it's not like a vicarious emotional response. It's almost like looking under the hood of a car, like, oh, you nerfed your engine. Okay, not a good idea. Let's see. Do I go down that line of thought? The What would it be like like the like the problematic vicarious nature of people caring about fictional deaths versus a cold-hearted um apathy towards real life suffering. So all you got to do is check out the news and then look at people's reactions. I mean, it becomes a tragedy when it's like a celebrity that they've decided to put on a pedestal. But a lot of times, oh, there's the people going through some stuff, man. And it seems like half of the people are cheerleading it. Uh, well, I could hit my head over that for a while. Is there anything I can deliver on that more? I think if people were upset with season two because of Joel's death, just like they were with the game. So to me, it screams, "Oh wow, you did that thing. Let's keep going. I can't really predict what you do next." I like that. I don't like predictability. I don't. If you just had Joel become like one of the main characters for Scream, like Courtney Cox, you just see the plot armor, and when you see the plot armor in a show, you can't unsee the plot armor in a show. You know what I mean? I feel like plot armor is boring. I feel like when you nerf plot armor in a story and you could kill the protagonist of season one at the beginning of season two, I feel like it's more interesting. It makes it feel more like you don't know what's going to happen. It's more exciting. I think Game of Thrones really did a good job of that. And like I said, Game of Thrones is its worst enemy. Its last couple seasons, it was its worst enemy. Let's see. Any other examples of that? Yeah, I think anytime I get like an emotional response, for me personal, it's almost like the dread and the horror of death. I'll give you an example. Ralphie, he is a total unlikable D head. Ralphie from Sopranos killed. Like, so of course I'm not vicariously doing it, but the way this guy's death was like so humiliating, where his like hairpiece ran out. For as much money as he is, you think he could afford those Swedish hair plugs that everybody's talking about these days. But I guess this show's like a few years older than when the Swedish hair plugs became a trend. So like I found his death kind of miserable and haunting. But did I find was I like Ralphie just wanted to misuse women of the night? How could you do this, Tony? No. I find that's the most impactful for me when there's almost like a brutality or a helplessness from the person involved. So I can't get affected by deaths, but I never feel like it's a friend dying. I feel like Glenn from Walking Dead. I feel like um Joel from Last of Us. It's almost like a family member died. And I don't think I'm using hyperbole because, literal candlelight vigil for Glenn. Look at his acting, dude. So, James Gandolfini's acting. He kind of, just really quick, does he kind of have a slight De Niro esque? See his facial expression and stuff? There's almost a De Niro esqueness about him. I'm not saying ripped off or it's like obvious. I'm not. It's not like Christian Slater doing his Jack Nicholson impersonation or Kurt Russell doing his John Wayne impersonation. There's just like a slight De Niro ness in his facial expression. But that could be there's, different roads to the same city. It doesn't mean you ripped off somebody else and there's path to get to the same city. Yeah, does anybody else see that? A little bit of De Niro-ness in his performance. Okay. Um, yeah, I can have deaths in fiction kind of bother me a little bit, but I don't know, like, loss of a family member. In fact, the way that some people are acting now, parasocial relationships with celebrities and vicarious experiences through characters, I feel like that mana pool that I was talking about, that empathy pool, is being reserved for parasocial relationships with celebrities or people online or politicians or any of the public figure and not being used for real people. I don't know. It might be somehow our culture is using something that could be positive, which would be fiction and storytelling and kind of, unwinding from real life and having a break from it and turning it into what is good about us treating each other nicely or kindly or having empathy or love and compassion is turning it towards either strangers or fiction, which is kind of like a stranger that doesn't exist. Oh yeah, he gets him with the spray, right? Raid. Oh, so okay. Let me say. Uh, go down that line further, or hmm. Let me see. Last time I did entertainment news, I got that stupid celebrity worship crap. Oops. Yeah, I don't want to like Taylor Swift. Okay. It's like I need to watch out. Entertainment news kind of connotates a bunch of stuff that I'm not interested in. What about video game news? I thought that was like, dude, check it out, DVD fans. Look at this dude. Look, it's Vittorio Trickster. It's Vittorio Trickster, dude. Vittorio Trickster. He got in the Persona machine from Igor. They did a fusion of Vittorio and Trickster. They made uh Vidixter. Oh, dude. Okay. Alien Earth new video. Okay. Looks like a remake, but plays like a remaster. I'm gonna just be honest. I want to keep Alucardbatz topical to a degree, but not to the degree that I'm bored. Yeah, Oblivion. It was cool. It was. It was cool. It was, wasn't it? Okay. I don't. If that's interesting to do that one again. I just like when new games, man. You know how people complain about sequels and remakes and movies? The remastered stuff. If it's a true remake, okay, I'm cool. But uh, the remastered stuff and the overly porting stuff, it just gets kind of tired. Okay, the Accountant 2 interview. Doctor Who. Doctor Who season 2. Well, it ain't literally a season 2. They're doing more of that? Um, didn't the last one of this really flop? Oh, yeah. Some of the most simplest things people can't seem to get. They don't get with adaptations. A lot of times, people like the source material for a reason, right? It feels really strange. Isn't the plot line almost like an adaptation of this experience of playing a game where you can have multiple endings? That's not what the in game thing is, though. Been racking my brain over the conundrum that is adapting Until Dawn. There is no conundrum. The conundrum doesn't exist. It's manufactured from yourself or maybe others convincing you that it is. Supermassive games, deconstruction of horror cinema through. Okay, maybe deconstruction. Kind of seems in it to be a deconstruction of it. Kind of seems very embraces and becomes the tropes, doesn't have a deconstruction element of it, in my opinion. Choice based butterfly effect mechanics is essentially a 10-hour playable movie. Damn fine one written by indie horror staples Larry Fessenden and Graham Resnick. So a film adaptation couldn't be the same thing, but a film that isn't indebted to the game as choose your own adventure method doesn't feel appropriate either. Well, dude, all games can do that though. This is what they don't get. A game you could choose and go down different holes. If you make an adaptation of that, you have to choose what is more canon or more what you think is good for the film. So all games kind of feel like choose your own adventure. Do we need to see a Mario adaptation where Mario dies 8 different ways in the movie and then it shows like a game over screen? No. I don't know what the confusion is here for these people that they felt like they had to include a plot mechanic that would make it feel like how it is to play a interactive game. Dude, just focus on what's going on in the game, man. Sony's desire to release an Until Dawn adaptation seemed misguided upon announcement. No, it could be good. The problem is they just don't make these well. They can be like an Until Dawn movie could be cool. It's not doomed. What seems to doom it is their approach, not the actual the general concept of doing it. Are you telling me Until Dawn adaptation and you give it to Robert Rodriguez? Are you telling me Robert Rodriguez doing Until Dawn wouldn't make a banger? Are you kidding me? Is it really doomed to make that an adaptation, or is it just their approach is what dooms it? Robert Rodriguez does Until Dawn. It's gonna be a banger. It just will be. That's because David F. Sandberg's Until Dawn movie portrays the core hook of Supermassive's Until Dawn. The core hook is a game. As a game. If you did a Resident Evil adaptation and it was constantly over the shoulder and they could miss people and they had like a number on the screen with the ammo count, you don't need to do that. You don't need to do the things that it's like they're not being able to differentiate and parcel out the plot and characters and core aesthetic of Until Dawn and how Until Dawn operates as a game. It's almost like they can't separate those two things in their mind or something. Writers Gary Dauberman and Blair Butler chose to adapt Until Dawn as its title reads. In this case, Until Dawn translates into a time loop like horror scenario. The only escape if they survive until dawn. Should anyone die, they'll wake once a gigantic hourglass fixed to an ominous skull adorned mount drops its last grain of sand. Die enough times and you become a Wendigo. What? What the fucking dude? Anybody else a fan of Full Metal Alchemist? The manga? The manga, not the anime. Good lord, the anime sounds like this. A Full Metal Alchemist, like a schizophrenic, like conspiratorial rendition of the plot line. Like, what the fuck is this? It does kind of remind me of that, right? Like these characters that die repeatedly in Until Dawn become the Wendigos. Like that's like the homunculi in Full Metal Alchemist were failed resurrections. What? The core impetus of a missing sibling is there. Ella Rubin's protagonist, Clover, is hunting for her missing sister. I didn't think it was missing sister. I thought she was dead. In the game, death matters. It matters so much, in fact, that killing a single character sends ripple effects. There's no regeneration or second chances, like famously. That's the point of Until Dawn. The stakes are so astronomically high, dude. The slightest nervous twitch on your controller. Oh, I remember that. That was actually fun. That was kind of a gimmicky but fun mechanic. So, how about this, guys? You want to make an adaptation of Until Dawn? Have have them in the movie seats, and it registers their movement or their shaking in the movie seats. And if X percentage of people are not still in their movie seats, the movie will play a different reel. Okay, let's do that. Uh, uh, Once again, resembling Cabin in the Woods in terms of the influencing environment effect. Okay, that's true. That's kind of similar. The all-seeing overlord, the meta nature of characters joking about horror movie rules, and the different creatures unleashed each rewind. They didn't do that in the game, did they? It's been years since I played the game, but I don't remember the uh, Scream-esque meta horror commentary. Despite countless plot configurations, the game's powerful storytelling is far superior to this random assortment of scary scenes tied to an hourglass clock. That's kind of a funny wording. The game pulls players deeper into a web of intrigue where the movie's Mad Libs nature drags viewers through a jumbled rotation of clowns and kooks randomness. Clowns and kooks? Do they like literal clowns or the wording is weird? Like clowns and kooks, is that like a saying that I've never heard of before? Clowns and kooks randomness? Like I was watching National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon or whatever it was. Is that clowns and kooks randomness in that movie? Points are awarded for at least using Wendigos. Yeah, you give them points for one thing that is sort of like the original. Well, points to Running Man with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He did run in the movie, similarly to Stephen King's Running Man. He did run. The most obvious connection. Oh, by the way, I think it's cool they got this actor. I give props to that. Too bad they could. I wonder if they could have got Rami Malek. It's just so generic. Cheap Easter eggs aren't enough. Yeah, actually, this in general, I'm tired of the. Oh my god! Remember the game, the casting of Frank Stone? How it's supposed to be in the DVD universe, and then it's like riddled with Easter eggs and barely becomes DVD at the end, sort of. Oh man, Easter eggs is not an adaptation, guys. So if I did Dirty Harry, the adaptation, and uh, I had Jane Romero from DVD, and she was fighting aliens, and she got out a 44 Magnum. It doesn't make it. Hey, Aliens wasn't in Dirty Harry. It was, or maybe call it Dirty Jane. Dirty Jane. And then, hey, it's not Clint Eastwood, but it is. Oh, it doesn't. They didn't have aliens. They had bank robbers, but it has a 44 Magnum. No, no, no. You can't just do an Easter egg for one part of fiction and then have it serve as an adaptation. Does not work that way. Let's see. It is Vittorio Trickster. News. Oh, remember that whole thing about the Nintendo price? Comics, huh? Oh, let's see. Yeah, the Oblivion thing just is not getting its hooks in me. I played a good chunk of Oblivion years ago. It's good. It's good. What? Why are they? What? The Hunger Games: Sunrise on the Reaping. I don't have anything to say. I just what is I don't okay. Awful, disgusting. Shit. Well, welcome to today's day and age. You can't look up all news on IGN without some highly contentious, dichotomous us versus them tribalism zeitgeist crap. Did I already say zeitgeist? Francis Ford Coppola's Megalopolis story will expand into a graphic novel that is. Really? It's not very often they'll do stuff like that for failures. Or was it a failure? Stephen King? Huh. That's a very odd choice. What? Really? Oh, I don't need to see this guy. Mm, I think I'm going to end the stream.